Hi guys, welcome to Digital Tech Join. In this video, I'm going to show you how to upload images in your database and how to also upload images in your file-based structure that is on your web root where your application is hosted. Now, before we get started, I'm going to show you the demo of the application. Here, I've created two options: view employees file-based, view employees DB. So when you click on view employee file-based, the whatever employee details you're seeing, this images is coming from the application root folder. That is basically, if you go to my IIS folder where I've hosted the application, uploaded image, you can see these images over there. Similarly, when you click on view employee DB, this images is coming from the database. So this is what we are going to do in this session. So let's get started. Before we start the development, let you know the environment which I'm using. I'm using MSSQL Database as a backend, and then I'll be using Visual Studio 2022 .NET Framework 6.0. So first, let's create a database. Open, right click on database, new database, HRMS, Human Resource Management System. Now this is our database, and we are going to create two tables, one to store the details of the employee with the relative path where the images will be saved, and the second table where we are going to actually save the image data. So I have already created the scripts. I'll just run this too. Okay, sorry, this is correct. So just refresh it after you run the scripts. Here you can see the two tables. One is employee details, okay, and it has the following columns: ID, which is the primary, employee name, designation, department, mobile number, employee photo path, and employee file name. Now here what will happen is that we are going to store the images, but only the path. Actual image will be stored in the relative path of the web root folder. Similarly, we have another table, my profile, which is the same. Here we have employee name, designation, department, mobile number, and EMP image data, which is varchar max. Okay, where we are going to store the byte of the images. It is not going to stored on the folder file structure. Okay, so these are the two tables. So first we are going to work on the storing of images in the path, related path. We'll go ahead now and create a new project. We select ASP.NET Core MVC HRMS and click on next. We untick configure for HTTPS for now and .NET Framework 6.0. Click on create. Fine, the project is created. Now what are we going to do is, first we are going to create in our www root folder, we are going to create add new folder and we name it as uploaded images. This is for the first approach, where when you upload an application, when you upload an image, it will go and save it over here and then data in the database. Okay, so for the first approach, we have created a folder over here. Now we go ahead and create the data models. So our first data model will be right click and you say class, and you say employee profile. So this is the first data model and we are going to define the properties. So I've already defined this properties over here. This property is exactly matching to with our database columns, and I'll add the necessary references. Fine. So this is a property. This is a primary key, employee name, designation, and EMB path and EMB file name. And then this is a property which is not part of the table. You don't see this column over here. That is why it is not mapped, and I'm using iForm files. Now what is iForm file is basically the images that you send across in your HTTP request. So these are what is iForm. So basically it's an ASP.core introduced iForm interface that represents transmitted files in HTTP request. So once you upload any file, it will transfer it in HTTP request, and you will be able to access the content, byte, content type, file name, and many more property. So we are going to use this, and I'll show you how do we enable that in your view. So our method is created for, so this is our method model, sorry. Now we go ahead and first add the connection string to our app setting file. So I'm going to say connection strings, and default, I name it as default connection colon, and my server is local, my database name is HRMS, and I'm going to use integrated security to log into my database. You can also, if it is false, then we can very well go ahead and add the username and password. So this is my connection string. Now once I define the connection string, I go ahead and create a data layer. So this will be my class called ImageDB contest. This will hold the connection string to the database. And before I proceed, I'll make sure that I add some packages. So my first is since I'm using SQL, I'm using Entity Framework Core SQL. I install this. Got installed. Then I'm going to use Core, Entity Framework Core. And if I'm using scaffolding, then I might also add Entity Framework Core dot design. So I have added following packages. These three packages I've added. I'll just rebuild my solution once. Cool. I go to the data layer class, and here I'm going to reference, let's say, entity framework dot core, and I'm going to inherit db contest class. Click on this and select generate constructor image imgdb contest with options. So basically I'll be doing a dependency injection of this class in the programs file. Before we get into that, I will also go ahead and reference the model class dot models. Then I define the DB set and employee details. employee profile, employees. So what is the database name? It's in EMP details. It's not employees, EMP details. Fine. So now go ahead and create a dependency injection. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and click on the program.cs. We will refer, say, HRMS dot model class and Microsoft dot entity framework core and HRMS dot data layer. Now just below builder or service add controller, we will add a dependency for database injection. Add db contest, and then you refer your image db contest data class. Okay, and then with options, options dot use SQL server and builders dot configuration dot get connection string, and you name it default connection. Because we have kept our connection name as default connection in the app setting.json file. So we all said we have created the necessary data layer class. This will hold the connection string and then the table property, and we have added the necessary dependency injection in our program.cs file. Now let's go ahead and create a controller. So we are going to use the default home controller, and we will add the necessary using HRMS dot data layer, then using HRMS dot models. We will declare our db contest class. So emp db contest underscore db contest class. We are going to create I web host environment to access the root folder, and then we are going to add it in the constructor of our controller class. So host environment, and then we will inject the contest. Then we initialize the same over here. db contest is underscore, and similarly, yes. So this is it. Now let's go ahead and create the controller. So what are we going to do is that we are going to create a controller that will take the input, the details of the employee and the image. So let's go ahead and create a public action result by employee profile upload, and I'm going to take as EMP details. This is my, I'm passing in the model class that is over here, employee profile. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is create variable unique file name. So I want to make sure that there is no duplicate images uploaded. So I'm going to create a unique file name. Whatever file you select to upload it, I'm going to create a unique file name. And then I write a code over here. If emp details dot image file not equals to null. If it is not equals to null, that means somebody's user uploaded the image as well as data. I'm going to say string. So remember I had created a folder over here, uploaded images, right? So I'm going to say string upload folder, or let me call that image uploaded folder path dot combine webhost, sorry, it's webhost dot web root path comma and the image folder and the folder name which I created, that is uploaded images. Let's create a complete path. Now what is a unique file name? So I'm going to say UID dot new UID to string plus underscore plus, and I'm going to say employee details dot image dot file name. So whatever file name that is passed to this model class in the parameter, I'll append this unique ID to it. So this will ensure that there is no duplicate files in that folder. Now let's construct the final path, file path dot combine, and I say image uploaded folder and comma unique name. So this becomes my complete path. Now I say using file stream, to new file stream, file path comma file mode dot create. Fine. So I'm opening the stream and then say employee details dot image file dot copy to, and then I say file stream. So this saves the images in this folder. Now I also need to ensure that the path is also saved in the table, not the image. So I say employee details dot employee photo path, and I say this is my root path. This is something additional. This is not required. Since I know it is already stored over here, but still I'm maintaining that in the table for your record. And I say uploaded images. This will be required when you're binding the images in your view, when you're listing the images and the data. And then I say, if I want, I can also save the EMP file name. So what is the file name? The file name which we I defined over a unique file name. And now I call the DB context class which holds the connection string dot emp details dot add. So this adds a record in the database, and then finally we say DB context dot save changes. So this becomes my code. This is my entire code for, sorry, this is the entire code piece that I am using to upload image. So this is expecting a return view. So I just say return view. Okay, so this piece of code which I've written over here, employee profile upload, will actually upload the data in database along with the path, but save the images in the root folder of the web application. So now let's go ahead and create the view for this. So we right click and say add view. We say an empty and we name this view as employee profile upload. Now this view here will write some HTML to take input from the user. So I have already had this in my, you can generate the same code using your scaffolding, but I just do dot key NHRMS model and employee profile. This is a reference of the model. Now here I've created a form. Action method is this employee upload profile. I hope this is the same name. Yes, just make sure this is the action, and make sure that you type in C type as multipart and method as post. Since we are having an images over here, we want to ensure that the CNC type transmits that data bytes and images to our calling controller, so that we can access the property and save the records in the file as well as in the database. So here what we have done is that we have created an employee name control text box, then for designation, department, mobile number, and then we have this important part where we say image file. You remember we had created the model as image file here, which is not mapped with the database. So we create that and make sure that the input type is as file, so that you get a browse button option and you can browse that image. And then finally we say create. So this is a small piece of code which creates that form. Now let's go ahead. Before we test this, let's also create the view so that we can complete the entire journey end to end. So let's go to home controller, just right above your employee profile database. Okay, let's create a action method as public action result, my action result as employee listing. Okay, and what this will do is this will return view, and we have to say db contest dot employee details to list. This will return the list object. Right click on that and go to add view, create. You can create a razor view just to show you. We can automatically select, make sure you select list, employee listing, and your model will be employee profile. Okay, and click on add. You can also use you could have also used a scaffolding option for creating the employee profile update form, which I created manually. But see, this is what is you get it over here in your for the view is created. We will make slight changes over here. So what is it doing? It is calling your model class employee listing. Okay, and then it is this created a create action, but this is not our action to create. Our action method name is employee profile. We click this over here. So there is ID, employee name, designation, department, mobile, employee photo path, and employee file name. So basically what we have to do, we don't want to show employee path or file name. So this is not relevant. We'll remove this. We don't want these options also. Right now we're just showing you to upload images, and we don't want this employee file name. Here instead of photo path, what you're supposed to do is that make a slight change. We are going to refer emg source at the rate url dot content, and this will become our uploaded images slash, and then we are going to append the file name. And also set size. So I say height equals to 120 pixel, and width equals to 120 pixel. So this will make sure that your images get it loaded in the list view. So we have done with our coding to save the images in our root folder. What we need to do is that we will go to our create method, employee profile upload method, which will actually upload, and there we are going to make sure that we redirect. So we are going to say return redirect to action. We remove all these things and we say employee listing, and this is our controller. This is home controller. So if it enters this block, it will upload the images in the folder, save the data in the database, and then redirect to the listing page. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint. Let's put a breakpoint over here. Before we proceed, let's go ahead and click on shared folder. In the view, we'll add the menus. We click on views, and then in views we have shared. We click on the underscore layout, and okay, so we remove. So this is an, so we say view employees. This is file based, right? Just to refer it, and the controller will be action controller will be employee listing. Sorry, so this is a controller, this is an action, that is employee listing. Let's go ahead and run the project. Fine, this is the index page. I click on this. Okay, now it will not return anything because there is no records. So this is empty. Employee ID, name, designation, employee path. Now we click on create. The moment we click on create step, it is no images uploaded, so we'll be able to see the view. So this is a view created, correct? Now just write in IT, so designation is IT manager. IT can be your extension or the mobile number. Now we click on browse. So I created a folder with all the images. I select this guy and I click on upload. So now let's step each code. So we click on, so this is an, it has images. So it goes inside. Now this creates a path. So this is our path. It is code HRMS, WW, and uploaded images. Then it gives a unique file name. So this is a unique file name which I got. Now it combines the path, and this is the entire path of the images. Now it will go ahead and open the stream. Oh, this is an exception. Could not find a path. Uploaded. Okay, so there is a spell miss. If you see, uploaded images, and I've created, this is spelling missed. Sorry guys. I'll just rename it. Uploaded images. Let's execute the application again. Click on view images. There is no records. Click on create. It will ask for, so I create Martin AVB IP, and then I select his photo. Click on create. So we were here last time. We clicked here, and then this time it should have uploaded images. Couldn't find the path. D code HRMS. So root folder is this, which is right. Loaded images. God, extremely sorry. Click on this and there's no record. And click on create. A different guy this time. Okay, this comes over here. Yes, so it found the file. It is open the stream. Now it will copy it. Now if you notice, it should get saved. It's already saved there. because we added this line of code. Now it got saved. Now to redirect to our listing page. This time we should be able to see it. Yes, so we were able to see. So now this image got saved in this root folder. I'll just show it to you. You can see it got saved over here, and the data in the database. So if you click on select, so you see it stored the data and the path, image name and the path which was used to bind that information in the list object, and images are saved in the root folder. So this is a code base and structure for uploading images in your file format in a root folder. Now let's go ahead and quickly use the same approach. For simplicity, I'll be using the same controller, but I'll create different methods and entity class so that there's no confusion. And this time we are going to store the images in the database. The approach is the same. Data goes in the database and the images goes in the images folder. Okay, so now let's go ahead, create first the entity class. So I'm going to create a new separate model class called profile. What should I call so that it is easier for you to, okay, so let me go ahead and just name it as my profile entity. Okay, and my profile entity will have the same method except for one difference. It's not going to store any path, so it will have, so what are the methods in this? So we are going to store in this table now, which is implemented section. Okay, fine. So what we are going to do, we will select so just till here everything is the same, but there is the changes over here. So we don't have photo path, we have image data. So instead of all this, we are going to say public string emp image data, because we are in a database, we have emp image data. So we are going to store the string over here, byte array. Okay, byte basically, not array, byte. So this is our definition of the class, model class. Now we go to our data layer, that is db context, and create data db set representing a different table, obviously this time, and this will be my profile entity, and this will be the name of the table, that is my profile. So this is done. Now let's go ahead in the controller class, home controller. Now I'm going to add a different method over here. Yes, so these two methods were listing of okay, and this was so now we are going to create a method public action result, and we call it as update profile details, and this time it is in my profile entity and it is employee details. You see, so what is the change over here? So here what we are going to do is copy few of the lines of code from here. Okay, let's copy the entire code and paste it over here and make the changes. Okay, now this remains the same, unique file remains the same. Here we define a variable as byte, and we call it bytes. Okay, and here we come over here. Now we don't use this code. We delete this because we don't want to save it in the root folder. So we are going to say, instead of create, we are going to say open file image file. Okay, emp details dot image file dot open read stream. This will be stream. So whatever image that we had uploaded from, you remember we had created a iForm file which enables us to access the content type and the content file name, everything. So we create a stream like in the previous one, in the previous code. We create a stream and then we open the file and read the entire bytes. Now instead of saving that into the folder, we call a variable which we declared in the top, and we say binary reader, new binary reader, and we pass in the file stream. Good. So the name file doesn't exist. How is that possible? It is already there. New binary reader, because here there's a problem. Got it? And now what we do is we declare a variable as bytes. So we say br dot read bytes. Yeah, so we create a, I think so there's a conflict with the name, so let's name it as fs stream fs, and then call this reader here. And now we say br dot read bytes. Fine. So what are we doing here? We are creating a stream object. We are opening the file, and we read all the file bytes to our variable bytes which we declared over here. Now once we have the bytes, okay, with us, we don't require this now because we are storing it in a database, and we also don't require this. We just don't require even this part of it. Nothing. We just add this line of code, and now we make sure that we select the image data and we pass it this byte to our cannot if they convert string type byte to string. So let me go ahead and check what is the declared. Okay, so I think so I need a conversion over here, so I'll just convert this to string by using convert dot to base string. Fine, so now it is working for us. We have passed the bytes to our property emp image data, which is stored database. We don't need this, and this is not employee details, this is my profile. And we make the changes and we redirect to our my profile listing page, which is still not created. We'll create it. So this is the code base. Now this, what is happening over here, this, we are selecting the images and we are creating the byte, we are extracting the byte of the images, and then we are storing that in the database. We don't read any of this code. Let's go ahead and create the listing page also. So this is a name. So this is, we declare it over here. It will be the similar to this code. And this will be my listing, and make sure you also change the model name, basic entity name. So right click on this and we say add view. We select razor view and we ensure we change the listing and the model will be my profile. We click on add. Fine, so here the list page is ready. We'll have to make a slight change. So this is image data, and in the image data we don't require the add edit, which we are not doing it, and here is a slight change over here. So we need to bind the image byte array directly to our view. So we say image source to data colon image slash jpg colon space 64 comma, and then we say item dot image data. Width is 120 pixel, height equals to 120 pixel. Let's go ahead and create a layout over here, a menu item. Controller will be home, but this will be my profile listing, and this will be database db. So now we click on view employee from the database. Okay, so invalid object, I'm sure have my profiles. It's not my profile, it is my profile table name. Just change this and mention my profiles everywhere. Finally, so now we click on view employees DB. Okay, so there's no record. Okay, now we create a new record. Okay, fine. So I just go to view, my profile listing, and this is not create, this is actually now click on view employees by database, click on create. The view update was not found. Okay, I'm so sorry guys, I'm so sorry, I have not created the view. I click on update and say empty one because all remains the same over here. Update profile details. We are going to use the same employee profile details. It's the same thing. We just copy that over here and just change the model. It's my profile entity, and this all remains the same. There's no change over here. The action we need to change. The action is update profile details, and rest all remains the same. Click on view employee DB, click on create. Yes, we have this. ID, this is a mobile number, select, and we select James here, and we click on create. Yes, now you see this images, it's gone and saved in the database, this one here. So this got image. So here we are showing, if you click on view, this is saving in your file path. View database, it is saving in your database. So let me walk you through this code also, as I did for file database, file saving. So I click on create, we click on view employee database, and we add one more name. We select Mary and click on create. So now you can see it will open the file stream, extract the bytes, convert that into base 64 string, which is this, and save it in the record and redirect it. So this gets saved over here. Let me also show it in the database. Yeah. So guys, I showed you how to save images in your web folder, web related path, and also save images in your database in this session. I hope you like this video. Please do like this video which I created, and please do subscribe. Thank you so much for your time. Keep visiting. Thank you.